I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to actually quantum shift your reality. How to actually go through quantum shift, because it is possible. It's not as difficult as most people actually believe it is to actually do, and let's talk about that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Now, the first step to this process is very obvious. It's very obvious, but sometimes we forget how obvious it is to actually shift our reality successfully. The first step that I found in my experience in order to quantumly actually shift my reality is, number one, to pick my thoughts deliberately. So that's what works for me. So that's what you can do as well. Pick your thoughts deliberately. Here's the truth that I've come to realize: that nothing in this life manifests on accident. Okay, accidents like, oh, this happened by accident, that doesn't exist. Everything that happens in your life, everything that manifested or is manifesting, in my personal experience, happens whether we decide to manifest it consciously or actually unconsciously. So if you look back at a time where you shifted realities or something changed, what you'll notice if you look back at that situation is that actually you thought in a different way. Okay, your thinking was different. Whether you consciously decided to step out of your own bubble and take on a different belief system, or maybe you talk to somebody else and you ask them what their belief system is around that situation and you took it on as your own, you shifted your thoughts. Now the key is to do this deliberately, okay? Deliberately. This means on purpose. On purpose. People are using the law of attraction all the time. The thing is that a lot of people aren't using it on purpose. It doesn't matter if you disagree. Your thinking is creating your reality. So the key is to deliberately start to become conscious of this process, to actually notice that your experience is in fact changing because of the thinking that you actually have. And what you notice is that that is a quantum shift. To have a different perspective, that's it. Like, that's all you have to do. All you have to do is change nothing about what's happening, change nothing about what's happening, just simply change the thought about what you're seeing. Like, you might be experiencing something in your life, yet all you're seeing is whatever you're affirming to yourself. Okay, whatever it is that you're seeing, whatever you're seeing about the situation, that's a quantum shift. You are already in the reality you prefer to be before it manifests or before it's happening. And I don't even want to say like before it's happening, because it is happening in your experience because of your point of view. So let's just say you're manifesting a business. You want to see that business as successful. You have to say to yourself, I already have a successful business. That's what you want to tell yourself before it manifests. You want to be telling yourself, I already have a successful business. I already have a successful business. That's a quantum shift. Now you can be looking around at all these challenges, all these things that are seemingly going against what you want. Yeah, it doesn't matter, because all you're seeing is, I have a successful business. That's all you're seeing. That's all you see. It's like you see this, oh yeah, I have a successful business. This happening, oh, I have a successful business. It's like you're seeing all these things happening that seemingly are contradicting you having a successful business. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter, because all you're seeing is that you have a successful business. It doesn't matter what's happening. That's a quantum shift, is to simply change your level of thinking about what's happening. And you can really amp this up in a very powerful way, to the point where you realize, like, holy crap, like what I want already exists now. It already exists now. You can give yourself permission to step into the energy of what you prefer to experience now. That might sound crazy, because the programs that we're attached to tell us that, oh, I don't want to go there, that's unrealistic, that doesn't feel good. Yet the program we're holding on to obviously doesn't feel good to us either. We have to take a leap of faith and sometimes have a little bit of courage to change our thinking about the situation, to change our thinking about the situation. Nothing has to change about the situation other than your perspective about it in order to quantum shift your reality. That's a quantum shift. A quantum shift is when you pick your thoughts deliberately. I want to make it more complicated. I want to stand up here and give you a complicated 5-step process and share with you a bunch of stories. I don't have to do all of that. Make it simple. Stop listening to the old programs. Stop listening to the dysresonant frequencies. Cancel those out and pick your thoughts deliberately. That's a quantum shift. When you say to yourself, what's happening to me doesn't matter, I decide my reality because I'm actually worthy of what I want, that's a quantum shift. You say to yourself, it doesn't matter what the programs are telling me, I decide how my space is created. I create my space. I create the energy in my life. I create my reality. I already have what I want, because that is the choice that I make for myself, and so that is the experience that I'm going to get. That's the perspective you want to have. Cancel out the programs. Say no to the programs. If anything is like closing your heart off, you say no to that. I don't close, nothing closes my heart off. I expand regardless of what's happening in my experience. Don't let the programs close down your heart. Don't let the programs close down what you believe in, because what you believe in will manifest. A belief is nothing more than a repeated thought. A repeated thought becomes a belief. It becomes an assumption. An assumption is something you just assume to be a normal part of experience. What's normal for you right now, you gave that momentum in the past to create that, and now it's normal for you. Perfect example of that, Sammy Ingram gave, I think, actually it wasn't Sammy Ingram, I think it was a different YouTuber. What she said was that at some point in your life, you learned the ABCs, right? You're like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like you sang the song and you did all of that. And now it's just an assumption. You know your ABCs, right? It's normal for you. It's programmed in your being. You know your ABCs. You know the alphabet. Similarly, if you give enough momentum to a certain reality, you keep picking those thoughts, eventually it becomes such a part of your frequency field that you can just simply decide to let it go and stop affirming it, yet you still have it as a part of your experience because you've already done the work. And the work isn't even hard. The work is to deliberately, continually choose a particular thought that is going to change your experience. That is how you actually quantum shift. That's the first step, at least in my experience. And the second step to this process of quantum shifting is to believe fully that the 3D actually means nothing. It means nothing. The 3D means nothing. Stop allowing the 3D to define your reality. If you want to quantum shift into a new reality, if you want to change your experience, stop taking your cue from the circumstances that are reflecting your previous choices. It makes no sense. You're reacting to something that you're giving energy to. You're trying to fix something that you created by stepping into that thing that caused the problem to begin with. So the key is to believe, to upgrade your beliefs, to actually see that the 3D literally means nothing unless you decide that it means something. And I talk about this a lot, but it's easy to give up. It's easy to get this momentum going with your affirmations, with your thoughts. It's easy to pick up all this momentum and to step into a greater version of yourself, to feel it. And then something happens in the 3D and you're and then just stop that. I don't even want to entertain those thoughts Because what you want to do is you want to cancel those out, literally cancel those out, and replace them with the thoughts that are going to impact where you want to go. Yes, it's that simple. And you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, Francis, am I supposed to be controlling my thoughts all day? That's going to take so much work. No, it doesn't. You're already thinking anyways. You're already thinking like a million thoughts a day anyways, except you're choosing to think thoughts that you hate, that you don't resonate with. So it's like, it actually takes less work. It takes less work to continually affirm the reality that you actually want to experience than it does to give energy to thoughts you never cared about. I'm gonna say that one more time so that you really get this. It takes less work and less resistance, in my experience, just my experience, to pick the thoughts that you resonate with than to choose thoughts, and you're still choosing those thoughts whether you admit it or not, that you actually don't care about. So what this means is that the 3D means nothing. The 3D means absolutely nothing. Stop allowing the 3D to define your experience, okay? Now the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is something very powerful that I found in my experience that can allow you to quantum shift your reality in a very powerful way. This is just what works for me, but you have to create your own rules to your manifestations and how you personally do things. You got to find your own rules. You got to find your own way of being, but this is what works for me. The third thing is, this is just what I do, so I'm just going to explain how you can do it, but this is basically what I do. If you notice yourself getting reactive and you notice yourself getting lost in a program that you don't like, what you want to do is, like, whether you want to like push, like slap on top of that, like literally, yes, slap on top of it the thought that you want. Doesn't make you a narcissist, doesn't make you a manipulator or like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. It's like, okay, try not to control your thoughts. See where that gets you. Be sloppy with your thinking. Let people decide your reality for you. See where that takes you. Eventually, it's like, you could just like, you know what? It's like, just because I used to have this fear. It's like, oh, what if you know, I'm being there's just all this guilt, right? There's all this shame for owning our reality, like owning what we believe in. How about you say no to the guilt, no to the shame? You say no, but not by resisting it, but by saying yes to what you prefer instead. By simply, if you notice yourself getting reactive, falling into guilt or shame or reactivity or negativity, all these things that don't resonate with your frequency, what you want to do is do the opposite of that and slap on. Like what I do is I'll pull back and I'll meditate. For me, meditation right now, honestly, for me, meditation personally means affirming like crazy. Like just affirming. Like that's what brings me the most harmony and peace. There's been times where I meditated for multiple years and I did no affirming. I just meditated on my breathing and did other spiritual practices. But eventually that became a little bit redundant for me. And actually what gave me the most growth and the most expansion and the most healing, even the most healing, was to forget everything I knew about, believe it or not, everything I knew about spirituality. Just drop all the spiritual beliefs, forget everything that I know about everything that I've ever learned around any topic for infinity. Just drop it all, just throw it all away. It's like, you know what? If I want those beliefs back, I'll get them back at the end of this meditation. I let it all go, and I decided to just simply affirm what I prefer to see instead. Just, yeah, I know how it sounds. I can already feel some people might have resistance around that. But the thing is, have you tested it? Have you actually tested it? That's the question. Have you actually tested it? Because the people that are like, oh, reactive, or it's like, oh, I don't know, but like they've never actually for an hour, like trust me, for an hour straight, and just actually, the question is, have you actually tested this for yourself? Have you actually tested this? Have you tested replacing frequencies that are not resonant with a thought that you really resonate with, a story that you prefer to tell yourself that you actually really deeply resonate with so much more? Have you actually gave yourself permission, a permission slip to let yourself think in that way, and then let that become a part of your experience? Have you allowed yourself to step into that? If you haven't, I really encourage you to test this. If you notice yourself getting reactive, you could go into meditation if you want. But meditation is different for everybody. You don't necessarily have to meditate. You could be doing exactly what you're doing, but just affirm. Don't let that frequency, like don't accept that frequency as a part of your field. You could just affirm anyways. You don't even have to say anything out loud sometimes. You could say it out loud if you want to, but sometimes it's about really like, it's about feeling that something is entering your field that you don't like, and then pushing it right back. Pushing it right back, saying, I disagree with that, this is how it goes. And you don't have to actually say it out loud. It's about like overpowering. And I know this sounds very like egotistical and like narcissistic. I know how it sounds, but the thing is that you have to have enough courage to like be a little bit egotistical and quote unquote, like if that's your block, if you believe like, oh, I'm being egotistical or like narcissistic, you know what? Like the thing is that if you've been experiencing a lot of like not a lot of shifts happening in your life, it might be, I know it sounds crazy, to give yourself a little bit of like, just like actually like give yourself permission to actually be a little bit egotistical and a little bit narcissistic. And I know how that sounds, but you have to like, you have to fully own your power and the fact that you disagree with things that don't resonate. And you have to be like egotistical in your reality, in your particular way, and own the fact that some people are not going to resonate with what it is that you're sending out. And that's completely fine. Not everybody has to agree with the perspectives that you're creating. But the thing is that you have to value your state of connectedness more than somebody's opinion of you. If you're reactive to give somebody else validation for their belief, are you okay with that? Are you okay to be in a reactive frequency where you feel absolutely horrible so that you can be a player in somebody else's movie? So that you can validate their opinions and beliefs that they probably don't even resonate with either if they're honest with themselves, because if you don't feel connected, they probably don't feel connected either. And it's two people playing this game of giving each other validation for beliefs that they don't even actually care about. Like, is that what you want? So eliminate that entire block if you have that, and let yourself be perceived however people want to perceive you. Because the thing is that you value how you feel and what you see about life, how the way that you process things, more than what people actually think about what you're doing. Imagine if people think you're absolutely crazy, yet you're creating your own reality and you feel great. I'll take, like, I don't know about you, you do you, but I'm gonna do me. And personally for me, again, I can really feel that a lot of people are not gonna resonate with this, and that's fine. That's fine. Notice how I don't care if you don't resonate with it. What personally works for me personally, doesn't have to be what you resonate. What works for me is to overpower that unconsciousness, that density, with what I prefer to see. Like you have to. It's almost like a battle. Honestly, like it's almost like a battle of unconsciousness versus consciousness. It's almost like there's this battle. There's all these unconscious frequencies trying to enter your field. You gotta like re-alchemize that and push it back and reprogram all of that again to how you actually prefer to be in the world. And it's going to take a little bit of reversing all that resistance, because that resistance is going to try to creep up on you, and these videos are meant to help you to be supportive, to not believe in that resistance. Don't believe in the fear, don't believe in the resistance. Keep thinking what you want, and you'll notice like, wow, all this energy of fear is literally, quite literally being transmuted and transformed into what it is that I prefer to see instead. And that's all I have for this video. With that, I hope this video was valuable for you, and I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, leave a like on this video only if you want to, because I do believe that actually every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are divine creators of their reality, and that actually they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does actually help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.